Mr. Transformers 96 here with another end of the year video. This time we have my taking the 2018 Hot Toys figures that I purchased and ranking them from my least favorite to my favorite. Now this is something I do every year. I always have a lot of fun with this. I'm a big fan of Hot Toys, and therefore, you know, it's always just kind of a yearly a tradition for me to rank the Hot Toys I purchased that year from my least favorite to my favorite. Now this year is going to be different, and I will say that is because the way that I purchased Hot Toys was a lot different this year. I actually didn't buy that many, to be honest. When I came up with this list, I knew it was going to be less than last year for sure, but I didn't expect to see how much less it was from last year. I purchased, and on my ranking video for 2017, there was 15 Hot Toys figures. This year, there's a whopping 4. Yes, that's right. I really skimmed on the Hot Toys that I picked, and it's for multiple reasons. One of the big reasons was, well, there was 2 reasons. One was personal, one was because of Hot Toys and Sideshow. The Hot Toys and Sideshow one was that they raised their prices, and it got to a point where obviously the extra $10, $20 isn't gonna kill me, but it just became ridiculous at that point, and just I started to really look at them and go, they're starting to hit a point where they're not worth the price that they have on them, which bugged me, which really made me want to pick and choose which ones I purchased, because they're so expensive that they're not worth their price anymore, in my opinion, for a lot of them, and therefore it really bugs me to shell out the ridiculous amount that they're asking for now. They've always been high priced, you know, always way overpriced, to be honest, but they've been going up in price so fast that it's like super noticeable now, and it's really caused me to take a second look at a lot of the figures. And then the other personal reason is that I was getting so many Hot Toys figures before that a lot of times I'd get them, I'd be excited to get them for sure, and then I'd get them, I'd open them up, and I'd throw them on my shelf, and I'd be happy to have them as another character in the collection, but I wouldn't really enjoy the figure at all. It kind of became a little old hat, and it would be great for the display as a whole. I'm very much a display collector, I've found out recently, is that I really like the look of the display over the actual figures themselves. But with Hot Toys and how expensive they are, I can't do that. That's just ridiculous to not enjoy the figures and instead just to be buying them for the display. So that's another reason I really wanted to streamline and just pick the figures that I absolutely needed. So that's why there's so few Hot Toys figures in this list. However, I definitely still wanted to rank them because that's always fun to do. And yeah, and next year I do have, I have 3 Hot Toys figures on pre-order. At the end of the video I'll tell you which ones. And of course, I would imagine that next year I'll have probably more Hot Toys than I do on this list. I'll have next year. I'll have more, but probably not by a ton, to be honest. But yeah, let's get started with my my least favorite of the 4 that I purchased. In 4th place, I'm going to put the Arkham Knight. This is actually quite a good figure. Its posability is actually surprisingly impressive. I thought he'd be really limited, but he does have a nice range. Other than in Thyre, it's a little limited, but other than that, he does have a surprisingly good range. I do like the fact that you can interchange his parts to make him Red Hood as well as the Arkham Knight, you know, the 2 characters that this character kind of is in the game. It's a good figure, it really is. Obviously, with the limited choices that I had this year, there wasn't really a figure that I just disliked completely. The reason I put him last on the list for me personally is that character-wise, he's not super necessary. I bought him back at a time when I was really excited about all the Arkham figures that were coming out. I thought they were going to continue to go, and they basically stopped with him. They're starting to pick it back up now, and the 2 characters that they've decided to start with are ones that don't interest me either. So it's more of like, well, if they don't make any of the characters that I'm interested in, which I thought they would be making, you know, I probably would have just been happier with just Batman and Joker, but the Arkham Knight as a figure is quite good. So all of the figures on this list are good, but I would definitely put him as my least favorite out of the 4. Speaking of Arkham and Joker, here we have in 3rd place the Joker. So this is quite a nice figure. Again, I'm a big Joker fan, so I do like just the fact that I was able to add another Joker to my collection. Just in general, it's just cool to have Jokers from Hot Toys in a bunch of different mediums, this being the game version. And this is a really nice version. They nailed the head sculpt, which is quite good. That's one other reason I would put him above Arkham, the Arkham Knight, is that the Arkham Knight just has a helmet. It's a really cool helmet and all, but this is a good head sculpt, and I always prefer head sculpts when it comes to Hot Toys figures, because that's really what Hot Toys is known for, their head sculpts. So on a figure that doesn't have head sculpt, they're slightly less, or Hot Toys is you know, signature qualities are slightly wasted. But here they can really shine, which is nice. He has great articulation, and Joker's just a fun, very flamboyant character, and therefore he's a really fun figure to pose, because you can put him in really unique poses that you don't get to do with a lot of the figures that you always get, just the typical superheroes. You have the typical superhero style poses, but with Jokers and characters like that, they can really express themselves, and you can put them in fun, cool poses. So definitely liking this figure quite a bit. Second place is going to go to Hela from Thor Ragnarok. This was a figure that I was really excited they were actually making. When they first showed it, I was very skeptical that it would ever be actually sold, so I was super happy when it was actually put on pre-order and I was able to purchase it. And the figure turned out really nice. I'm a huge fan of the head sculpt. I think the head really represents Cate Blanchett in this look for her in the film. I really like the accessories that she comes with. Her headpiece is super cool. My only issue is I would have liked an interchangeable head. With an interchangeable head, this might have taken the #1 spot, because I did kind of consider putting her at #1. However, my #1 choice is really quite special, and therefore, you know, she definitely deserves the second spot. However, this is a fantastic figure. Very much enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the other Marvel villains that I have on pre-order. And my favorite Hot Toys figure from 2018 is going to go to the Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. This was a figure that, this is actually my most recent Hot Toys figure. It was one that I didn't put on pre-order, but just like recently I got a real hankering for a Johnny Depp figure from his role in Pirates of the Caribbean. I've had the DX05 before, and I absolutely love the figure. I ended up selling it though, simply because it didn't go with anything else in my collection, you know? Like I didn't have any other Hot Toys Pirates of the Caribbean figures, so although it was an amazing figure, it was just him by himself, and therefore I decided that it wasn't worth having him. I've kind of always regretted that, and decided to purchase this new one, and I am super happy with this one. I definitely won't sell this one. I really enjoy it, and even if I don't have something specifically to display him with, he is such a display on his own that it's totally fine. So I'm really into this figure. It's fantastic. It's a DX figure, so he has a movable eyes. He comes with an extra face sculpt, tons of accessories. He's got a great set of clothing that is very baggy, allows him to have total posability, no issues, no hindrance whatsoever, and no worry about damaging any of the costume, which is just fantastic. And then he comes with just the coolest base ever. Like, look at that. That is just awesome. He is such a cool display all on his own. Just the single figure himself is so magnificent, so eye-catching, and just so breathtaking that it's really it's fun in general. To be honest, I haven't posed this guy a lot in general whatsoever. I basically got him out of package. I got all of his accessories all set up, and I started to put him in a pose, and this was the first pose I put him in, and I loved it so much that I haven't wanted to touch him because I'm just so happy with the pose I have him in. So eventually I'm going to start messing with him some more once I decide to change up the pose, because to be honest, I haven't even put in the second face sculpt, just because I'm just so happy with this kind of serious look for him with the sword out and him stepping on the cannon. He just looks so perfect that I haven't messed with him, but eventually I'll start messing with him, throw on the smirking head sculpt, which is the one that I anticipated displaying him with, and therefore, you know, be able to put him in some more fun Jack Sparrow type poses. The same reason that Joker's fun is the same reason that Jack Sparrow's fun, is because they're very unique characters that can be put in those typical type of poses, but they can also be put in the really crazy fun ones that are unique. So this definitely is my favorite Hot Toys figure of the year, and he joins the ranks with Ironmonger, Joker from The Dark Knight, the DX11 figure, Falcon, the Mandarin, and Darth Vader from last year. So those are the figures that have won my countdown each year. I didn't do a countdown for the Ironmonger year just because that was the year I started collecting Hot Toys, and I didn't start doing this yet, but that was by far my favorite figure of the year. So those are my 6 favorite figures for the last 6 years, which is kind of fun. I'm glad that I kind of keep track of it. It's kind of neat to know that. But yeah, overall, a really awesome figure. Alright, so there you go. That's my my list for the 4 Hot Toys that I purchased this year, how I'd rank them from my least favorite to my favorite. All of these were quite good, but I definitely stand by my choices. It was rather easy to put them in order, I will say, just because the Arkham ones, I enjoyed them when I got them. I haven't done much with them. The Hela and Jack were the ones that really stood out to me, and Jack is just so much more of a complete figure, and Jack really represents what Hot Toys should be, but they're starting to lose it a little bit, to be honest. So that's why I definitely put him him quite high up. I think with Jack, the reason that he's so good is that they set a standard for the DX5, so they couldn't take it a step back from that, so they at least have to be on par with the DX5, and I certainly think that they are. So great figures this year. Again, really strange that I did not purchase very many, much less than I even thought. For the following year, though, 2019, I do have several figures on pre-order already. Less than usual, though, of course, but about on par with this. I have 3 figures on pre-order, being Killmonger, as well as Thanos, and then Darth Maul. So those are the 3 figures that I've put on pre-order. I'm considering some others, particularly Grindelwald, to be honest, is the one that I'm really kind of interested in. So we'll see what figures I end up purchasing, next year, and we'll see if the number increases. It certainly won't decrease, because I've got 3 down for sure, and I'm sure I'll get at least 1 more, but well, it'll be interesting to see how much higher it goes, but I will say just Hot Toys' increase in prices has really turned me off from their products, and therefore I'm just being a lot more choosy with my characters. And to be honest, I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm actually kind of happy about it, because there were a lot of Hot Toys before that I was getting, just got out of the package, threw it on the shelf, never touched it. Just because it was more of like, well, now I've got that character for the collection, that's great. Instead of actually like really enjoying them for the figures that they are, and for the price tag that they are, I need to enjoy them. You know, it's ridiculous if I don't. So there you go. That's my ranking for my Hot Toys that I purchased in 2018. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of my ranking, what your guys' favorite figure is, and just, even if it's not from this group, what your guys' favorite Hot Toy figure was, and least favorite, that's fun too, of the year is. I'd love to hear. So, thanks so much for watching.